last in the AFC East at 2-14. Adam Gase has been released by New York, the man who created the term Gasing in his Jets tenure. The good news is that they own the second overall pick in the upcoming draft. So, Stephen A., you are up first. Tell me this, sir. Who is the best choice to get the Jets out of this mess?
Well, first of all, we all know how I feel about of African Americans in the National Football League. I'm very, very big on that, and I'm definitely rooting for Eric Bieniemy to get a job. Let me say that. He definitely should be a head coach in the National Football League. But I don't want him in New York. I don't want a coach who happens to be black getting his first opportunity in the media capital of the world. Particularly coaching for an organization that is so haphazard and unproven like the New York Jets. I don't like that for Eric Bieniemy. I'm going to tell you who my choice is. Believe it or not, Urban Meyer. I think the Dallas Cowboys made a huge mistake by not hiring Urban Meyer and hiring Mike McCarthy instead. I do not believe the Jets should make the same. First of all, let me say this. I think Urban Meyer is doing an outstanding job, as an analyst covering games for Fox. I watch him all the time. I think he's outstanding at that job. But as a football coach, I think we need to bring things in its proper perspective. And a lot of times he gets caught up in some controversy here or there. Let's look at the man's record. He is a three-time national champion. Three-time national champion, at least, if I remember correctly. Last time we saw him at Florida, he had won, 81% of his game and 2 national titles? At Ohio State, he wins 90% of his games and a national title before walking away. His record at Ohio State in 7 years, was 83-9. 83-9. That means he went about 5 years undefeated. This man is a phenomenal coach who, by the way, is also a guy that can be a leader on the professional level. We all know the difference between college and pros and the NCAA and some of the rules and regulations and all of this other stuff that you got to find. You ain't got to worry about that in the NFL. You just got to maximize the potential around you in the NFL. Get dudes to give you the very best that they have. Urban Meyer has a history, a track record spanning 17 years as a coach, winning 85% of his games, where year after year after year, the man has proven that's what he does. And if there is ever an individual that could come to New York and folks in New York City have to stand down and defer to his judgment, at least for the first couple of years, it would be that guy. That's why I come up with the name Urban Meyer. I think that he would be an outstanding choice for the New York Jets, and I think it's something that they should consider.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Bieniemy to begin with, because I think the answer is Bieniemy. He'd be on the top of my list. And you mentioned how you also like Bieniemy for a head coaching job, maybe not this one. From my point of view, that's more like
Not New York.
Eric Bieniemy, don't take that job. Not, hey, Jets don't want Eric Bieniemy. But since you brought up Urban Meyer, Stephen A., what Urban Meyer's going to wind up doing is quitting, and he's going to leave it scandalized. That's what he does. He's a great football coach who's obsessed with winning. No question. Do I think he'll get good results? Yes. But in Florida, at Ohio State, both times he leaves and leaves the program scandalized. Why would that be different in the pros, really? Especially in New York City. Is that what the Jets need? Do the Jets need that kind of instability over the long term just to kind of get back on their feet? They're usually not on their feet, by the way. If you want to go college, matter of fact, you don't even have to leave Ohio State. Go Ryan Day. Like, why not? He hasn't missed a beat since he took over. He's just as successful, and he's much younger. If you don't want Bieniemy, or you don't want to do that to him with the Jets job, and you want to go to the college ranks, you don't even have to leave that program to find, in my opinion, a better choice than Urban Meyer. I would say Ryan Day.
Well, the reason why you would say Ryan, my whole point is the reason why I disqualify Ryan Day is because you'd say Ryan Day because of Urban Meyer. He's 23, what is it, 23-1 as head coach at Ohio State. He's been absolutely outstanding and in position to win the national championship. We get all of that. But this is his first head coaching job. It's his third year at a program that Urban Meyer built, okay? Urban Meyer would be that guy to me before Ryan Day.
Okay. Guys, can I just jump in here really quickly? Because I also want to mention that Jacksonville has hired Doug Marrone, fired him, excuse me. Stephen A., I'll start with you here. So who do you think would be the best fit as the new head coach in Jacksonville?
Wow. Well, Eric Bieniemy comes to my mind that way because obviously he'll have a star quarterback with the first overall pick. And by the way, I'm not so sure anymore that should definitively be Trevor Lawrence. When I watch this kid, Justin Fields, and the way he's trending and how exceptionally, how much of an exceptional athlete he is, plus he can throw the football, plus he's tough, I like his upside. I like what I'm seeing. And if they don't get him, I hope the Jets get him because Justin Fields is a stud. I just believe in this kid, and I don't think that we can ignore him any longer, even though Trevor Lawrence is still special, and we all know that. Having said all of that, when I think about the Jaguars and Eric Bieniemy taking a job like that, and the Jacksonville market seems a bit better for me. I like that.
Slam dunk, Eric Bieniemy. As I said, to me, if the question is, hey, we have a head coaching vacancy, you should be looking at Bieniemy first for a host of reasons, including he's excellent. And if the trend nowadays is to go for offensive minds, right? You take the offensive coordinator on the most successful offense. Why isn't it Bieniemy who's been waiting in the wings? And the Jags, if they take Trevor Lawrence, what kind of culture do you want around it? By the way, they not only have Trevor Lawrence, they have 1 million picks and they have a ton of cap space, right? So why not? And any of the dominant franchises in the NFL have two things. They have a head coach and a quarterback. Those are the two things you're looking for. And to introduce two different figures at that position, Trevor Lawrence and Eric Bieniemy, the best overall, in the opinion of many, quarterback prospect to come along in a decade, and the most decorated coordinator really in football waiting in the wings.
No question.
That would be, if you're starting from scratch, you would say that's the dream scenario.
The question is it the dream scenario for him, the right situation? But we have a hard out here, fellas. When we return on First Take, there is still plenty more to come. We have a fresh hour for y'all on deck.
A lot of times he gets caught up in some controversy here or there. Let's look at the man's record. He is a 3-time national champion. 3-time national champion, at least, if I remember correctly. Last time we saw him at Florida, he had won, 81% of his game and 2 national titles. At Ohio State, he wins 90% of his games and a national title before walking away. His record at Ohio State in 7 years, was 83-9. 83-9. That means he went about 5 years undefeated. This man is a phenomenal coach who, by the way, is also a guy that can be a leader on the